Notice, Coach. We're going to get started here with EKU football's Week 2 press conference. We're joined as always by head football coach Walt Wells, and we're going to be joined also by Tommy Ziesmer of the defensive line and Antonio Gaines of the offensive line. As always, if you have questions, please queue in the chat so I can make sure we get everybody's questions answered from Coach and the players today. And with that, Coach, I'll turn it over to you for your opening statements ahead of our game against Houston Christian.
Well, just reflecting back on the last game against the University of Louisville, obviously they did a great job. Came out well prepared, took advantage of some things. They did a great job of studying some things that might hurt us, and we didn't do a great job of defending that and/or taking care of it on the offensive side of the ball, and we let the thing get away from us quicker than we wanted. I think there's some bright spots you can look at in that game for us. You have to find those bright spots because there's, if you just dwell on the negative, then you're going to beat up your team a little bit. I was proud of our effort, but we've got to improve this week to beat a Houston Christian team that's coming in. Coach Bechtel has done a great job of transforming his team. He's brought in over, I think it's 60 transfers. Or right at 46 to 60. I can't remember the exact number. 23 of them are FBS transfers. So they're going to have some quality players from the city of Houston and from the transfer portal and be a tough task for us on Saturday night. But we're excited. I believe I read somewhere where it's the first home game we've had this early since 2016. So excited for our fans, excited for our students. Excited for our players, to have an opportunity to bring an FCS foe into Roy Kidd Stadium and have a chance to open up that slate. So excited about this week of prep. We have to have a great week, and we need a great week. And so with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
All right, we're going to start with Michael Watkins of WBLN, and then we'll go to Brian Milam of WKYT.
Coach, I have a few questions. First of all, talk about the crowd. I mean, being there on Saturday, it seemed like there was a lot of EKU fans in attendance, but, cheering you guys on from the corner over there.
Yeah, I felt great about that, and wish we'd have gave them a better show. But I just appreciate their support and taking their time and money and energy to come over. It was a nice day. It wasn't too hot. It got a little warm there towards the beginning of it a little bit, but. I think if they watched the game and understood the game a little bit, they saw some bright spots. And but we've got to continue to clean up those messes. And like I said, we're an inexperienced football team, so that showed. But I really appreciate them coming and being a part of that atmosphere in that game, and hope they do the same this week. We need that crowd. We need that energy here at Roy Kidd Stadium. It is. I know there's another team playing 30 minutes up the road, Kentucky and Ole Miss, I think it is. But hey, we don't play till 6 o'clock, so get in here, get loud, and help us against a good Houston Christian team.
To that point, talk about the importance. Last year undefeated at home. So talk about that and why it's important to start off on a good note with this home schedule.
Well, you can't meet that goal if you don't start off good, number one. But number two is I think anytime you're at home, it's important to take care of home. I mean, you got 6 opportunities there where you don't have to go on the road. That puts you at if you win them all, that'll put you at 6-0 at least. And so our fans that take the time to come here, spend the money in the city of Richmond and here at EKU, they deserve that opportunity to see quality football and see wins, and we've got to compete to win. But I think it's important that our guys understand that we have to protect our home turf.
Last one for me, Houston Christian ran for over 400 yards in their season opener. So, talk about the defensive plan and what you need to see from your guys that maybe you didn't see against Louisville to be able to stop their run game.
Well, I think the biggest thing that we have to do is eliminate explosive plays. You rush for 400 yards, there's obviously some explosive plays. Run plays, that is. And so we have to, we had 2 major runs against Louisville that really crushed us. And when it came to the rushing, I mean, I think they rushed for 220 yards. And if we take 2, I get it, we didn't, so it counts. But I mean, if we can take the 2 mistakes away, maybe we hold them to a little less than 150 yards rushing. Maybe we don't. Maybe they just grind it out and do it. We don't know, and we'll never know. But the fact is, we have to get them down and eliminate the explosives. We consider an explosive run over 15 yards, and we have to keep them under that so that we can do a great job of making them one-dimensional.
All right, Brian Milam.
You just kind of hit on it, the explosive runs, and and I know it's got to be tough with the chunks that Dixon kid got, I believe. But then you also were not able to really get a lot of pressure on their quarterbacks.
Right.
What the biggest adjustments you have to make in a situation like that is what?
Well, when you're four-man rushing, you have to have the ability to get home. I mean, you have to. And we have to understand and transition better in our pass rush. And you can't blitz every down. When you start blitzing to get pass rush, you're softening your coverage a little bit. And so, not that we're not going to blitz, not that we're not going to do that, but I mean, there comes a time and a point when you have to win your one-on-one battle. I mean, they're gonna double the nose guard and then leave everybody else on individual battles. Those D linemen have to win those battles, and Jack, they have to win that battle. And then when we're doing that, our secondary has to do a great job of getting into our underneath coverage has to do a great job of getting into their drop zones and where they're supposed to be and understand the route combinations that are come. The one that comes to mind is 3rd and 19. I mean, first drive. We've got them. 3rd and 19, and they get 20. And, you can't do that. I mean, and it's because we had no pressure on the quarterback and we had guys dropping in the wrong zone. Okay, and not understanding what's going on. I mean, we had a guy bite on a flat route. It's 3rd and 19. You don't have to bite on that. Just tackle it. If they want to go for it on 4th and 12 or 4th and 10, that's their prerogative. But let's make them make that decision. And so those are the first game mistakes, inexperienced mistakes that we've got to clean up this week. If you remember the play before, Frank Lee got in there and got a holding call. And that's what brought it back, the original 3rd down brought back and put it from 3rd and 9 to 3rd and 19. And so, we've got to get more of that, because he had the pressure, the guy held, they called it because it affected the play. And so those are the things we have to do. With the runs, we had 2 missed assignments. Well, we had 1 missed tackle and 1 missed assignment on the runs, the 2 runs that created the explosions. The big long one, the second of the long runs, that was a touchdown. We had a missed tackle. I mean, guys right there to make the tackle to make it for probably an 8-yard run, and he missed it, and nobody was catching him. And then on the first touchdown run, our field end didn't get where he was supposed to. Him and the Sam didn't communicate, and so he played it one way, and the Sam played it the way he thought he should play. Instead of communicating that, and him ripping off and running down the line and making the tackle. Those are things that's got to, we can't have out of veteran players. And all 3 of those were veterans. They weren't inexperienced players. So that's what we talked about in our team meeting. Like, you get opportunities, you have to make the play.
Brown, not Dixon. My bad.
Yeah, that's right. I know.
I
saw his nameplate enough. I knew who you were talking about.
I'm sorry. I had the Isaac Dixon of Belfry on the brain. Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right.
One last thing. When you get behind so quickly, what's the message after that first quarter?
Well, when you get that quickly, you're just trying to get everybody calmed down, everybody focused on what they're trying to do. Don't panic. Don't do anything, because if you panic, you start giving up more and more and more. And you want people just to understand, like, listen, hey, man, we're here. We're in a hole now. All right. The only way to dig it out is to dig your cleats in the ground and play tougher on defense, obviously better on special teams, and then obviously better on offense. I mean, it's a group effort. Nobody can point the fingers, but hey, man, they're not going to cancel the game because we went down 21-0 in the first quarter. So you got to dig your cleats in the ground and play with some pride. And I think that's what we tried to do. I think, like I said, the first drive was 11, 12 plays. I can't remember exactly. And a big 3rd down conversion caused that. That's not all bad. I mean, obviously it's bad they scored and they got the conversions, but there were some good things done in that drive. And then, but to come out and go 3 and out and then punt and have a punt return for a touchdown, that's not how you want to start the game.
All right. Connor Sturgill, Fox 56.
Coach, you kind of touched on it. I mean, there were some good things, you just said your guys played with a lot of pride and everything like that. But what are some good things you can take away from the game that you hope you can expand or translate into this upcoming Houston Christian game?
Well, I think as we settle down, I think if you look at our first down efficiency on offense, because everybody's trying to find something on offense. Well, our first downs were 4 yards. We want to get 4 yards or more, okay? Because that keeps you on pace to have be able to get a first down. Well, but the negative was the penalties would knock us back, but we were getting 4 yards on first down or more. And so we were putting ourselves in a position to start drives and do the things we wanted to do. Then we'd shoot ourselves in the foot with an offsides, with basically an offside. So you can't do those, but that was something offensively that I thought, there were some bright spots that you could see in there, and you have to highlight. Defensively, there was plenty of times that we stuffed the run. Okay, we did a nice job against their D line and in one-on-one situations in the run game, and so you've got to highlight that and make the plays. The 2 interceptions at the end, I told our team this. They thought we were going to be their scout team, and our guys went out there and performed, and we had 2 pass breakups that or 1 tip ball and then a pass breakup that led to 1 pick six and 1 interception. I think that's how you finish the half. You have some pride about how you played, and then in special teams, I liked how our extra point field goal team did some good stuff. Buzz hit the kick that he hit was from the spot that he had the most trouble from all the training camp. So to go out there and nail it right through the uprights in the middle, those were bright spots for us that we have to take from. And then there's some individual performances that, not everybody played bad. And it's just, in football, you have offensively, you have 2 guys play bad on one play, the play's dead. Same thing on defense. So, I think we had some bright spots where some guys played well.
And to follow kind of with what Brian said, that first quarter, what do you say, guys? But after the whole game, what do you say to the guys? And then you have this Houston Christian team who I think put up like 60 plus 69 points against their pass opponents. So another very high-powered offense. So how are the guys getting ready, for another high-powered offense that wants to score a lot?
Well, I mean, it's a totally different scenario, and but we've got to come in and we've got to correct our mistakes. Your biggest improvements come from game 1 and 2. I believe you improve every week in the season if you're going to be a championship team. The ones I've been on, that's what they do. But we have to make some big improvement, and that comes to making the plays. I don't want to say consistently, and making the plays when they have to be made, both defensively, offensively, and special team. It's not okay to look up and be like, well, we played well all except for the kickoff return for a touchdown, or the punt return for a touchdown, or the 2 long runs for a touchdown, or this or that, the 3 sacks. We got to, hey, you got to make the plays, and you got to consistently make them, and you got to play with consistency in your performance. And that's what we stress. That's one of our core values here. And so they're going to have to come back to that and make sure that they play with the same energy. Now, our energy level and our strains were off the charts when you look at the science numbers and things like that. We just got to make sure we're not making the mistakes we made.
All right, Dick Gabriel, I saw that you had a question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach, you kind of alluded to this, but what was your read on your team, maybe in the locker room, on the bus ride home, and then yesterday when you guys went back to work?
I think they're anxious to get back to work. On the bus ride home, there was dejection. There was a somber attitude, at least on the bus I was on, and in the locker room after the game. The guys knew that they didn't perform to the level that you had to perform to beat a Louisville. Okay, that's the top 30 team in the nation right now. Okay, they've got extremely good skill. Quarterback is efficient and accurate, and so they're going to win some ball games. And so I think what they found out was that, again, inexperienced team. Hey man, you find out you can't go out there and make a mistake and you get to redo it over like you do in practice. Okay. It's over, and you got to move on to the next one, and you got to play the next play, snap and clear mentality. But I think it was a somber mood. I mean, I think a lot of that was because of the way the game ended with the injury to Telly McAllister. I think a lot of people were worried about Telly, and we had to leave him behind, and just things like that. It's just the reality of that set in with the reality of how we played at times, and so. But yesterday in meetings and everything, and everything we did with them yesterday, from lifting to running and all this stuff, their attitude was good. I mean, I think every now and then when you get your tail tucked a little bit, it realigns your focus and you come back ready to go.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
All right, Brian, I saw that you had one more question for Coach.
One of the favorites on your roster for me is Brady Hensley. His attitude, and last year he was a special teamer. What do you see as his ceiling and his progression within your program? He did give you your first touchdown of
Yeah,
this.
no doubt. No, I mean Brady's a hard worker. He loves football. He loves EKU, which is very important. And so he's right now he's behind Braden Latham, and I call him and Jalen Montgomery 2A, 2B. It depends on what we're going with and how we're going with them. All three of those running backs are talented and have different styles, and I think that brings a lot. He's a bigger back, an inside runner that's got some speed. The biggest thing Brady has to learn is, he's not running away from, you know, some of the teams he played at LCA and Madison Central, that he's playing different level. And I think you saw that yesterday. He improved. He stayed inside the tackles when he needed to, and he's hard to tackle. I know this. His teammates tell me he's the hardest to tackle. It hurts the most anyway when they got to tackle him. So. I'm excited that Brady's a colonel, and we're excited for his future. And how that goes is going to depend on a lot of different things. But I mean, I'll be honest with you, I expect nothing but great success from Brady.
All right, anybody else with any questions for Coach before we let him go? All right, since I'm not seeing anything, Coach, thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, we'll now welcome in Tommy Ziesmer of EKU's defensive line. Tommy, if you can turn your camera and mic on, and I will open the floor to questions. Michael Watkins, I'll let you go first, and then everybody else just queue up in the chat.
Tell me, when you look at the score got away from you guys pretty quickly. Talk about what you guys were trying to do on the sideline to keep the confidence and to try to keep some excitement over there on your guys' side after you fell behind.
So I feel like this on the sidelines for defense, we were still encouraging one another. We were still trying to correct things from previous plays and just trying to go back out there and execute to the highest level of our abilities.
When you look at the loss like that, how quickly or I guess what's the mindset and how quickly are you guys trying to turn it around and immediately get back to work? Do you want to get back out there and improve on what you all weren't able to do on Saturday in preparation for this next game?
I would just say, I'm saying we've kept a positive attitude. Obviously there are things we have to fix and we got to correct going into next week. And I feel like just in our meetings we had yesterday, we looked over the film. Obviously some plays were harder to watch than others, but I'm saying we needed that to now, okay, let's come in today. Let's correct that. Let's get that right. So next week we can fix those mistakes that we made during the game and be in better position.
Last one for me. How excited are you to get a chance to play at Roy Kidd Stadium for the first time?
I'm so excited. Ever since my official visit, everybody's been talking about the atmosphere, all the parents coming out, and I'm personally excited for my parents to see me actually start a game at home. And I'm saying it's Roy Kidd Stadium. Let's get it.
All right, Brian Milam, you're up.
How tough was it to get behind the eight ball so quickly? And were you surprised that they hit you with those big chunks so soon? And then, unfortunately, they pull a lot of their starters, and it still kept snowballing. How tough was that to stomach?
It was it was tough, but I'm saying it still didn't change my attitude. I'm saying I started to go out there and work and do my thing, and I'm saying I started to do my 1 of 11. So really, no matter who's in there, we still got to go out there and execute to the fullest of our abilities.
All right. Sturgill, Fox 56.
Houston Christian has a pretty good run team, at least from game one. They had running back, I think, had 4 touchdowns. So how are you all preparing, for what looks like to be a heavy run attack this coming weekend?
Well, person just for the D line, I'm saying we're always taught to strike, control the block, and shut out violently. So really, just this week, just being able to stay in our primary gaps and just being able to stop that run, just being violent in there, and yeah.
Connor, anything else from you?
No, sir.
All right. Well, Tommy, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And now we'll welcome in Antonio Gaines. All right. Watkins, I'll let you lead off like last time, and then everybody else, if you have any other questions, just let me know.
Antonio, talk about the difference in going against the guys that you're going against in practice and what you went against on Saturday that Louisville was able to put up front against your offensive line.
Um, I wouldn't say it was a really, really big difference. I feel like the Louisville guys were a lot quicker than our guys just because of, we used to going against these guys in knee braces and going against having countless team periods, stuff like that. You feel me? Being tired throughout practice. But these guys, we're going against guys that are fresh. You feel me? It was just a different atmosphere. So I feel like as far as up front, we weren't ready. I ain't gonna say we weren't ready, but we weren't prepared mentally for the game atmosphere.
When you're down there on the field and you see the planes flying over top of you, you see all the red in the crowd. What can you guys do the next time? Like, so when you go to Marshall, what can you do to better prepare for that type of atmosphere that maybe you weren't able to do going up against Louisville?
Like Coach Wells says all the time, we can't make moments bigger than what they are. Like at the end of the day, this is a football game. It's a game of football. Everybody's putting their pads on the same way. Everybody is coming out to play a game. Like we can't let atmospheres and outside noise get in our head. You feel me? Like as long as everybody keeps their head grounded and not like I said, make moments bigger than what they are, I feel like we'll be straight.
What's the one thing or the biggest thing you all need to work on between now and this game on Saturday at home?
Just practicing hard. We get preached to all the time that if we practice hard, games will be easy. It's a lot of times where we have to pick up ourselves at practice and stuff like that just because people have their own personal battles going on and things like that. But if we just come out every day and practice hard, I feel like as the season goes on, we're just going to continue to improve and get better throughout the games.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right. Dick Gabriel.
Anthony, I'm just wondering, how difficult is it to flush this out of your mind, to take lessons from it that you need to apply to the rest of your season, but then all the unpleasantries just to leave that behind? Is that tough?
Um, yes and no. I feel like once you played this game for a certain amount of time, you kind of learn that you have to take the good and bad when it comes to losses, just like you have to take the good and bad when it comes to wins. Us staying on this loss and letting this loss affect us is not going to do nothing but trickle down to later on in the season. So I feel like it's very important for us that we can have a quick track thinking. You feel me? Like what happened. We went over it. We got our corrections through. Now it's time to move on to the next game and improve on what we need to improve on to make sure that the rest of our season is great.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And then Antonio, one last question. You guys last year were undefeated at home. Coach talked about a little bit earlier, but for you guys, what are you guys saying as a group to continue that winning streak? Because you guys haven't lost a home game there since, the 2023 season. How much is that playing in your minds when you guys step out on the field on Saturday?
It's very important. At the end of the day, you got to protect home base. You don't lose in the kid. Everyone knows that if you're around EKU, so it's definitely something that we hold very dear to our hearts. It is something that we take very seriously, and it's already being talked about right now. Like we said, last week happened, but right now this is a team goal that we have. We don't lose in the kid, so we got to really buckle down this week.
All right. Any other questions for Antonio? All right, not seeing any. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on the press conference today. Game notes will be out tomorrow, and we look forward to seeing you guys at Roy Kidd Stadium this Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you.